Once Human just got its patch 1.4.2, we'll go over all the details there, as well as some additional updates with the Seeds of Chaos and new scenarios. Additionally, we finally have the images from the new Battle Pass, where that leads us onto some mentionables from the community, as well as a whole bunch more. What's up world, it's Utopia back with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Let's just jump right into it. So yes, we are getting patch 1.4.2. However, that does not go live until tonight, although depending on your time zone that can actually be February 27th, as they are bringing the servers offline at 8 PM PST, and that should last till 10 PM PST. However, the two other time zones in NA will actually bring it to February 27th, so that will start at 10 PM CST, 11 PM EST, well, that will bring us to 12 AM to 1 AM depending on your time zone. As they do mention here, the maintenance is expected to last around 2 hours, but of course it can always differ. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. They do mention here with this update, of course, we are getting some new content. They have that new toggleable screen for the cosmetics. You can now hide your cradle/backpack, your weapons on your back, and other fashion armor pieces, simply by unchecking items in the display settings. As we went over before, they kind of showcased what that display setting does look like, and they also gave an example of several of the items that you can hide. And as of yesterday, as I did mention before, you can now sell deviations to vending machines, or at least place them in vending machines so that other players can buy them. They also do mention here that now players can trade deviations face to face. So you don't have to just do it in the vending machines. This was a clarification on that. And you now also can sell multiple items per slot, which can be purchased separately. So you can do a bulk sale there. With this brand new update, they are dropping a new Wish Machine prize pool. Again, each of these have been lasting around 3 weeks. That is going to include the Brahimni Bounce, Explosive Burn, and Sharp Bounce, which also does have the Sharp Blade Pants and Bastille Jacket, Shoes, Gloves. So again, any of the previous Wish Machine items that you would have wanted, probably should snag those up now before this update does drop. They also did have an event adjustment here, but essentially it is just the Gather Friends and Accept Invitation event that has been extended all the way till April 24th. And if you are joining a new server like myself here in a few days, as I did just hit Phase 6, you can use my code on the screen or in the description. That will get you a plus 10% XP bonus, as well as an XP bonus to the Battle Pass. So that upcoming Battle Pass, that should help you level it a little bit. And also, if you are signing up to a new scenario, you can go ahead and use that. Again, I believe you still cannot use the code unless you are under level 10. There's also some goodies in there other than the XP bonus. I do have a 6-star Jaws typically in there, as well as a 6-star Crossbow, and even a 6-star Shaman. Do believe this can depend on what stars yours is currently, but it should be in there, as well as a few other items. And they do mention here they had a bunch of new shop arrivals. Of course, we did get the showcase finally of the Frontline Dispatch Battle Pass. So you can see that imagery here, as well as a few other items in the Battle Pass, like the Paper Glow Territory Collectible, the Wild Nook Furniture, they have the Omnitrack MG4 weapon skin, a Solar Crucible Cradle cosmetic, which does look like one of the more tinier Cradle skins, and they have the Nestling Loom Territory collectible. There's also going to be a few more in that pack, and they added this here where you can now gift battle passes to friends. That might be something I do in a further giveaway, as you can now gift those to people, so really cool there. Although I have hosted a ton of giveaways for Once Human, but there will be more to come here soon. With the new store update, they did get a brand new Sinful Blaze Lightforge loot crate, where on February 26th, the 20% rate-up event for the Dream Waltz does end, and the Frost Shade crate will be removed in place for this one. That does contain the Inferno Judgment fashion set, Demon Expeller R500 weapon skin, and a Furnace Core Territory collectible. They do give a little bit of a teaser here for that. Next up here, we have the Future Shop Arrivals. Now this won't be dropping until March 6th server time. Typically they'd mean that is Beijing time. Where first up they have the Camellia Chase collection set, the Thorns Judgment theme pack, and a red Camellia Library furniture pack. They do give some previews for both of those cosmetics here, as well as the outfits, and then yes, the furniture pack. That does cover for the new additions to the game, but they're also making some adjustments here and balance changes. So first up here we have optimization and adjustments. For scenarios, they have improved display interactions, guidance from V, and new tasks for the Manabus scenario. You can check a few of those out here where they do showcase the Mitsuko Mark task that you can grab, which is under the scenario challenge section, and it does look like it got a bit of a UI update as well. For weapon balance adjustments, Hazardous Object, which is the new pistol, had its reloading now throws your weapon, and it will now deal more damage. Pretty insane. This weapon is super strong in PvP and even really in PvE. Now it's even stronger. There's probably going to be a lot of builds around this one. They also had its self-damage reduced from 50 to 40%. Next up, Hammerhead actually had its Power Surge shock damage increased from 60 to 80% of PSI intensity. And it had an adjustment here for PvE, 150% target damage, where in PvP it just does 100%. The Memento weapon, where they did increase the extra extra bullet chance from 80% to 100%, and a new attribute: if you miss a shot, your next reload adds +1 bullet. That's some last additional changes here and fixes. Lunar Oracle will now display Lost Whispers if you do black out, so you can determine how much you did lose. Purification had its weekly reward limit removed, so now you can do that more often. And it will now drop Eclipse Cortexes and Chaotic Cortexes. So Purification might be back on the menu. People might start doing that again. Did seem like with the recent changes to the Asterium, people weren't doing those as often. Construction water depth required has now been lowered from 10 meters to 1 meter. Thermal towers will now have a confirmation on their demolition, and the farm access is now restricted to players with storage permission. If you didn't know previously, if you were in a hive, I do believe anybody could access your farm, and they could technically take your crops. I did notice that back in the day, but I'm glad they did finally address that. Vehicles have improved the motorcycle physics and stability again. Motorcycle is definitely becoming more and more of a utilized vehicle, and you can now even steer while airborne. That one's a really cool one for better landings. Maybe they have some tricks that can happen in play. That'll be fun to toy with. For the Wilderness, they added new navigation shortcuts, an indicator for Stardust concentration. They've also increased the hive number to 16 players, which is a hugely massive change, basically doubling the limit there. And again, glad that they changed the farm access stuff, as they would have been able to. They've also made it so that your backpack can now destroy bound items. However, they do list here that there is no recovery for that, so do be very careful with that there. They also did some visual and audio enhancements. There was a developer note here where they do talk about future balance changes. They're going to keep PvE and PvE adjustments separate, which is great to hear that it's not going to influence each other, that they will, seems like, have a dedicated team for PvE and PvP. They're also going to avoid drastic nerfs to protect player progression. That should help, since you have to do a lot of changes to your build in order to combat that. And they're going to do more stuff based on community feedback that you do submit via the CodeDev platform. They had some other bug fixes here at the very end, but nothing too standoutish. Again, if you want to check that out, I'll include a link to both the Once Human News client page, as well as the China Client News article, as sometimes they do differ. Speaking of the China Client, we have some additional updates here with the Seed of Chaos. So it looks like here we are getting some first videos showcased and posted to Bilibili, and this one here goes over and talks about how they have the qualifications to test the new server. However, they are not allowed to join in right now. It seems like some players haven't been able to join that. It seems like overall maybe it hasn't even opened up yet, so we're still waiting on some confirmations there, and if we do get any footage, I will try to link to it. Again, I'll link to this creator's video itself, but we did actually get some news here with that, where if we actually do translate this image, we can see that this is being called, or the seasonal label and tag is being called Wild Mode. It also looks like it's being labeled Species of Disaster or Species of Tribulation. And we did get a small teaser image with that server, where it does say below that image, in the wilderness, everyone is a hunter, and every hunter is a sale. Only the living can be the strong. There might be some mistranslation there, but overall, that is kind of what it's going for. So some small teasers there, nothing too crazy, but it looks like it's going to be considered, or at least the seasonal label will be considered Wild Mode. We'll have to wait and see if we get any more information there. As of right now, though, that looks about it. Moving on to some last community mentionables. We do have this one here talking about the depth limit that we had in the patch notes, where they want the depth limit to be separated from the PvP and PvE modes. Essentially, probably Prism versus Clash should be the only change for this depth mode, as 10 meters to 1 meter kind of gets rid of pools, as well as some other creativity that people have come up with. Yeah, I hope they do make a change on this. I guess we could submit via the co-research platform. Hopefully they just adapt this change to the Prism versus Clash scenario, as the other PvE scenarios and PvP scenarios really don't need it. So yeah, again, just like with the balance changes, I hope they do separate out this change. Overall, it should about cover for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and until the next one. Dukes!